On today's episode of You Asked, who else just wants a big, dumb TV? Can sunlight damage your OLED TV? Why do TVs and monitors look better at the store than at home? And a recurring favorite, TV or PC monitor? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and this is You Asked, the show where I answer questions that you asked in hopes that I can help you and others who have the same tech questions. We've got a fun one today, and it's packed, so let's just dive right in. Sanders asks, as an owner of a Sony A95K, should I be worried about direct sunlight that can damage my TV over time? I read some sources that this could be a thing in general for OLEDs. I have direct sunlight hitting my TV maybe 2 hours a day. I usually close my window blinds to be better safe than sorry, but if I don't need to, it would be even better. Have a nice day. Sanders, you have a nice day too. Have a nice sunny day. But your OLED TV, how much sunbathing is okay for the A95K? I gotta say, guys, this one sent me down a real rabbit hole. I mean, search this topic for yourself and you'll see a lot of folks in forums and on info sites claiming that sunlight does affect OLED screens. Unfortunately, nobody is citing an actual source for this information, so I started looking for scientific studies, and I found one in particular that showed that direct UV radiation was observed to degrade the luminescence of OLED panels. But the paper was more geared around how to solve the issue at a technical level than it was to describe in layman's terms what the actual conditions of the study were. I also found this on Sony's UK website, which just casually states, quote, place the TV away from direct sunlight. Sunlight exposure can change the characteristics of your TV screen and may appear as non-uniformity, end quote. But that could just be Sony covering its tail. Still, I've seen enough to believe that direct sunlight exposure can be a risk to an OLED TV. But what kind of exposure? What kind of conditions create that risk? Well, near as I can tell, the damage is caused by the heat generated by the sun exposure. I mean, black materials absorb more light, thus converting more of that light into heat than, say, reflective materials. But what I don't see discussed is just how direct that light needs to be a threat. I also don't see any information about whether it's UVA or UVB light or both, and I don't see any info on how long or repeated the exposure needs to be to actually cause harm. I could take some comfort in knowing it was mostly UVB light that caused the problem, since home windows filter out most UVB light, but only about 25% of UVA light. So yeah, there's a lot I don't know, but I do know it is the heat that causes the issue, and I also know that the amount of heat that builds up will be directly related to how direct that sunlight is. So I would be more concerned if your TV could literally see the sun itself, line of sight, through the window, than if the light was just spilling into the room through the window. If it's high noon, that sun probably isn't shining directly into the window, but depending on which direction your window faces and how tall the houses or trees are in your area, I imagine the A95K could get direct sunlight when the sun is lower on the horizon. If it really is like direct sunlight, then I'd probably draw the shades just to be on the safe side. But you could also try to gauge how much heat is being generated by leaving the blinds open, and after about an hour of this sun exposure, go see how hot that screen is. If it's pretty warm or hot even, then you should probably just not let the sun hit the screen. If it really isn't even warm, I'd worry less, but again, is it worth the risk? I have to let you make that decision, honestly. Sean writes, in showrooms, there are always things being played on the displays that are on display. There, those videos look very lifelike. Everything is vibrant, smooth, and colorful, but at home, I haven't been able to recreate that. I use a Gigabyte M32U. Could you explain this a bit? What matters the most? Resolution, frame rate, bit rate, file format, panel tech? You know, Sean, I've been hearing this question a lot more recently. It looked so much better at the store. Why am I not seeing that at home? You're asking about a monitor, I think, but this is true for both monitors and TVs. I think there are two factors at play here. One is the lighting conditions at the store paired with the settings on the TV or monitor. See, at most big retailers, TVs and monitors are lined up next to each other under a flood of cool color temperature lights. Because it's so bright, and because the color temperature bias in those spaces is so cool, meaning it's on the cool side of the Kelvin scale and has a lot of blue in it, The TVs are usually put in their vivid mode, where not only is the brightness cranked to the absolute maximum, but the white balance of those displays is also as cool or blue biased as they can possibly get. That's the only way the screens can look good in those lighting conditions, or at least stand out. Everybody's doing battle with each other to have the TV that stands out the most. Those lighting conditions are nothing like what most of us have in our homes. You can try the vivid picture preset on the TV or the daytime mode on a monitor and see what you think, but I know a lot of folks feel like it is too brash or harsh. And that's because the TV becomes this super hot point source of very blue light, and this wears our eyes out over time. But also, most TVs ship with a power-saving eco mode turned on by default. This can be true for monitors as well. This is how the displays get by EU regulatory rules for power consumption, and in the US, it's how the displays can get away with really low power cost numbers on those Energy Star labels. That eco or power saving mode has to be turned off for the TV to get anywhere close to as bright as what you saw in the store. So your best move is to turn off the eco mode, and sometimes that's going to be hidden in the TV or monitor's menus, not always under the picture settings, but sometimes under general settings. And once that is done, pick a picture mode preset that is pleasing to you. Those changes should make a dramatic difference. However, there is one other factor. Depending on the retailer you visit, it is possible they are playing HDR content on those screens. That's what unlocks some of the contrast and color brightness these new HDR displays are capable of. And I wonder if you're actually getting HDR content to your display. HDR on PCs is just a dang mess. Also, more of the picture settings and calibration stuff is actually taken care of at the signal level through a PC. Anyway, there are tons of gorgeous HDR videos on YouTube. I like Phil Holland's channel, Jacob and Katie Schwartz, Eugene Belsky's stuff is amazing, as is Jennifer Galla's stuff. She also runs the HDR Super channel on YouTube. Take your PC out of the mix, grab a Chromecast with Google TV or some other inexpensive HDR capable streaming dongle, plug that into an HDMI port on your monitor or TV, and watch some of those HDR videos and see what you think. Anyway, it's not like the TVs and monitors at the stores are special and you're buying some lesser unit. It's a combination of display settings, environmental lighting, and the quality of the video on the screen itself that makes the difference. Can I just take a break from the questions to share something with you? I love doing these You Asked videos. It's my favorite work right now. You guys keep me on my toes. I genuinely enjoy helping people, like a lot. I love the sense of community that comes through doing these. I feel like I'm getting to know some of you better and what you want to see on the channel. Like, I'm just really enjoying this. So thank you for your support. Thanks for your questions. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't already. That support means the world. And thank you. I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Okay, next question. Ralph from Scotland says, what is the point in me spending a lot of cash on, say, a 65-inch or 75-inch TV, which I want to last for the next decade, but where the software will likely rarely be updated, if ever? Would I not be better off buying a really decent low or medium price unit and relying on the heavy lifting being done by the dongle, which does get regularly updated? That does beg the question, is it possible to get a really decent big screen TV which would be suited to this task? Yeah, Ralph, we feel you here at the channel. We've done a video about whether a dumb TV would be a smart idea, and lots of folks like the idea of being able to just buy a dumb TV and just rely on a streaming box or streaming stick that's easier to update or replace over time. However, as things are now, nobody is making a dumb TV. Even the cheapest TVs now usually have some sort of smart TV system built in. As such, not much of the money you're going to spend is going toward that smart TV system. They all have it anyway. No, the more you spend, the better the picture quality should get. The only platform that gets close to allowing a dumb TV experience is the Google TV platform. So I suppose your best bet is to shop for a TV that has Google TV, and from there, weigh your priorities. Which is more important, size or picture quality? Because you can get a very big TV for not a ton of money, but that's a very big screen of not so great picture quality, or you can pour your budget into picture quality, but you'll find that you may have to go for a smaller screen, depending on your budget. I'm always encouraging folks to find the sweet spot between size and picture quality, because the TVs with really great picture quality at really big screen sizes, they tend to cost a lot of money. Also, since you want this TV to last, I'd pour some of that money into solid build quality, which usually comes part and parcel with buying a higher level TV. Now, one part of your question has me a little bit concerned. You mentioned having a dongle do the heavy lifting. None of these streaming devices do any heavy lifting at all. That's all done by the processor inside the TV, and I don't think any TV manufacturer is ever going to allow outboard processing where you could swap the chips out and just instantly have a higher performance TV. They wouldn't sell as many TVs that way. Next question. Viewer writes, my son wants to add a 48-inch TV in his computer room. He wants to watch movies with a Fire Stick and play the Switch. Should I buy an OLED TV or a monitor? I'd like to future-proof and get him 120 Hertz 4K. First off, lucky kid you got there. You're a very generous parent. Would you knock it off? My kids watch these videos. Anyway, I would say that if watching TV and playing Switch are the primary uses for now, TV is the way all day. TVs have advanced picture processors that make TV, movies, even YouTube videos look better than they do on monitors when the source is something like a streaming stick or a streaming box, as opposed to a PC graphics card. Also, as much as I dump on how crappy TV speakers are, monitor speakers, if they even have them, are usually far worse. I don't know, a parent like you might also get them a sound system, in which case audio isn't even a concern. The argument in favor of a PC monitor would be if the PC was the primary source, especially if your kid is going to play a lot of games in an ultra-wide 21:9 aspect ratio, or if they're doing a lot of productivity work. Still, if you're looking at doing a 48-inch OLED TV, even with the letterbox bars at the top and the bottom of a 21:9 image, that image is gonna be huge. And like I said, if TV, movies, and the Switch are the primary content being viewed, then a 16:9 aspect ratio TV screen is gonna be better than having to deal with the pillar box bars on the side of the image if using an ultra-wide monitor. Just remember, TVs only come with HDMI ports, no DisplayPort connections. That may not be an issue, just wanna highlight it. So, a 48-inch OLED TV would be my choice. An awesome choice, by the way. I'd recommend an LG C2, if you could still get one, or a C3. Or, heck, if you want to shoot for the moon and go for broke, check out the LG OLED Flex. It's like a TV monitor hybrid with RGB lighting and the ability to have a curved or a flat screen. I love that thing. We'll drop a link to that review down in the description below. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. What did you think of this week's questions? Don't forget to send your own questions to youasked@digitaltrends.com. I'll see you on the next one, and until then, here's 2 other videos I think you might like.
Have some mocha?
You want a little mocha, Caleb? You like a tasty mocha?